Look at this. Look at this. This is amazing. Look at this very professional, corporate looking case. It's got that dark gray on it. And then, you know, it's got the lighter shade of gray. Whoa. So what is this? This is a Metrologic Instruments Optimus PDA SP5700. So, you see? Metrologic Instruments Inc. So, yeah. Model Optimus PDA SP5700. Then, you know, there's like a hyphen separating it with the ultra specific model that no one gives a shit about. So, this already gives you a clear indication how old this fucking thing is. Manufacturing date September 2008. There's my serial, and that's where it was made. Country of origin Korea. Where? What Korea? Well, we're all gonna assume it's made in South Korea, not North Korea. But, yeah. I mean, they don't like it if you say North Korea or South Korea there, so I don't know. And then, yeah, you know, Metrologic. So, you see, it's a very boring looking case, but that's okay. This thing is meant to be boring. So it's in the name. It's a PDA. There's me. It's a PDA scanner thing. So on the top, there is your scan engine window. This thing has a choice of using either a laser, that being the SE955, or an Adaptus imager. This is the one with the laser though. There's your IR blaster. Up here, there's this tiny little stub that kind of looks like an antenna. And that would be an antenna if, you know, this fucking camera wants to... Hey, motherfucker, you gonna focus or what? There we go. You see this stub right here. This would be an antenna if you had the option for cellular with it. This thing does not have cellular, so it has this tiny little stub to compensate for no antenna. On the back, you would also notice there's your little battery cover, and your little switch, there's a reset hole. You know, there's these carves on the back. I'm assuming ergonomics, even though it really doesn't fucking matter. The thing is that there's this little circle here, and it looks like the circle would be encasing something. It would. This thing also has an option of a camera. Mine does not have the camera though. So, yeah, this thing's already crippled from the start here. You know, no cellular, as if I can even use as a phone in the first place, and no camera either, and no imager. There's your little stylus compartment. So that's where you would store your little pen stylus. And this is your little tether right here, is a coiled tether. So it's not like a string one, it's a coiled one, you know. There's the quality right there. It's focusing on the... Okay, bro. Yeah, you know, there we go, you see. Metrologic. On the sides, you're gonna get a sight trigger. Look at that. There's your sight trigger. See, look at that gripper. 3 dots to grip your thumbs with. And then you got your little flap for a mini USB. And yes, you can transfer data with the mini USB with ActiveSync. But for some reason, I don't know why, it does not work. Maybe it needs an older computer, I don't know, but didn't really bother because I had the Cradle for it, so I used the Cradle for ActiveSync. There's your other side trigger, and then you will notice this is also a headphone jack. So it's a 2.5mm headphone jack. Amazing. Bottom of the device, there's your contacts for you to charge or sync it. So those are very simple looking contacts, similar to what you will find on the Morphic. And yeah, you know, it's a very basic looking, boring looking device. You know, it's got that two-tone gray color. You know, there's your little headset piece up on the top along with your indicator lights. You know, with why is it? Oh, there we go. You see? Your little headset piece. There's your indicator lights. One of them's for charging and a good read, and the other is for wireless. This thing does have a wireless card, but wireless card on it doesn't like connecting to the network I have, so I keep it switched off to conserve battery. And yeah, you know, there's obviously your touch panel. You will notice that there is no dedicated scan key. That's because your side triggers are your scan keys. But you can configure your send and end keys to also act as scan keys. Since this thing has no cellular, I did just that. There's a little numerical keypad. There's your enter, tab, function, shift, backlight. This thing has a nice looking blue backlight. And there's your power button too, along with your D-pad. So we switch on the device. What do we get? You see? We get... What the fuck? I thought I switched off the wireless card. Yeah, so you see? Look at that. There's your Windows CE desktop. Amazing. There's a little wallpaper right there. Metrologic SP5700 Optimus PDA. Blue wallpaper. You see, very professional looking. You know, screams business. Screams, this is not toy. So, let me pull out the stylus because it's gonna literally be a pain in the ass. Good. You will notice that the stylus is retractable. It's almost like a 3DS. So I'm able to make it tiny, then make it big. Yep. 3DS stylus, almost like a 3DS stylus. It uses a resistive touchscreen like a 3DS, so what the fuck is that on there? Get the fuck out of my goddamn stylus. Fucking piece of dust or thread or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Yeah. So it runs, of course, it runs Windows CE. So for something that calls itself a PDA, it actually runs Windows CE instead of Windows Mobile, so that's kind of funny. And yeah, you know, it runs Windows CE 5. You can see the resistive touches. Sometimes it gets a bit wonky. When I received it, it was already very fucked up. Somehow I was able to not fuck it up, but let me close a couple of things here. And yeah, there's your control panel. So there's a barcode applet. That's where you would configure your symbologies. So control panel version for laser decoder, blah blah blah, SE955. And unlike all the other shit I have, all the other scanners I have, where you go to the fucking symbologies configurator and then you're able to configure your symbologies. This thing doesn't really do that, because first it wants you to type in a fucking admin password. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what the stupid password is. It's in the manual. It's in the manual, but you know, I don't know. Is it 12757? Let me see. I typed in 128. 12. Isn't this my fucking backspace key? Or is this my tab? Okay, so this acts as a tab and a backspace function, and then tab. It's fucking bullshit. So 127. Is it 12757? I don't know. Like, I guess it's wrong because it didn't fucking 12757. Yeah, I was wrong. Whatever. I'm not gonna bring up the fucking manual. Whatever. In there, you're gonna configure symbologies. You know, the parameters of whatever symbology, and your little postfix, prefix, garbage, whatever the fuck, you know, the typical trash that literally no one cares about. So there's nothing interesting in your barcode applet. Bluetooth. This is where you're able to configure your Bluetooth. See, I already hooked it up with a computer I own, and it shows a little active sync icon. For the active sync service, it's bullshit. It cannot work. You know, day and time, device profile, you know, it shows you all the stuff here. So, you know, serial number, main board, whoa, Windows CE, whoa, look at that, LCD maker, top poly, whoa, CPU maker, Marvel Intel, CPU clock, 520, and then, you know, there's your flash and then your RAM. So we have 128 megabytes of RAM and 128 megabytes of flash. Amazing. And what else do we have here? You know, what are shit? You know, 1D laser, SE955, the garbage ass Samsung wireless card that doesn't fucking work whatsoever. It's the same trashy Samsung card that's used in the Dolphin 7600 as well. And yeah, okay. You know, that's device profile for you. Display, you know, we're able to set our wallpapers. Not a lot, but it's something. Yeah, you know, we got your keypad, so you're able to set these as function keys, key map, miscellaneous. See, that's where you configure your send and end to be as a scan trigger. You know, version 2008, amazing. LCD brightness. For something that says it's pretty dark, it's still pretty bright. Yeah, you know, order information, PDA information. Ooh. And, you know, we get, it almost reiterates the same garbage, you know, Optimus PDA, the build date of the CEOS itself, 2008, so May 9th, 2008, or is that 5th of, okay, considering that's like this, it must be May 9th. As if it fucking matters, man. Yeah. Yeah, you know. Power. I recently charged it, so, you know, it shows up main battery, 88. Huh. That's a funny number. Oh, now it went up to 89. The backup battery shows up as 73%. It's actually bullshitting. I removed the backup battery. You see, when I received this fucking thing, these things seems to be common with the main battery, bloating, you know, expanding. Obviously, when a battery expands, you definitely don't want to use it, or else it's gonna probably fucking blow up on you. Well, I was able to at least fortunate enough to receive this device without the main battery being all fucky, but at the cost of the scan engine itself not fucking working for some bullshit reason. So I had to purchase a new scan engine, disassemble this piece of shit myself, only for me to find out that the fucking backup battery, which the backup battery of course is not going to be standard coin cells, is a rechargeable cell. It's like some shitty, tiny little fucking Chinese lithium ion pack. And that shit was so fucking bloated. Bro, I mean, if I knew that it was like that, I would have not fucking powered this thing on, because you're telling me every time I charge this fucking thing, anytime it could have blown up. So that right there was divine intervention. So, yeah. Schemes, device status, PXA LCD. Wow. Regional settings. Amazing. So you can see the region is converted to the United Kingdom by locale, but the language is US. Amazing. So this thing speaks American. I speak American. There's your storage manager. Yep. Typical BS. Nothing interesting there. And then you got your system. You can see over here, if you look very closely, they fucking misspelt Marvel. So instead of it calling it a Marvel PXA 270, it calls it a Mavell. Mavell. That's not how you fucking spell Marvel. I know, goddamn spelling whiz, but yeah, somehow they fucked that one up. So yeah, you know, so it's really the Mavell. It's the Mavell PXA 270, not the Marvel PXA. No bullshit news. The Marvel PXA 270s. So yeah, this also suggests right here that this does not read the information straight from the CPU. Instead, it's whoever would have cooked this BSP, this build of CE in the platform builder, would have had to actually specify this. And it seems as they didn't seem to go under a... It seems as they didn't proofread this shit or whatever, and somehow they made a colossal fuck up like that. But yeah, whatever. Memory, device information, industrial mobile computer. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I still wouldn't treat it as industrial, but that's okay. Utility manager. Yeah, you know, this is where you configure your startup, quick launch. So the quick launch is this tiny, not that one, this menu right here, you see? This is where you configure your quick launch, registry backup. Again, is locked by admins, and you know, I don't remember the passwords, so. Yeah, I'm not gonna bring up the manual. So over here is where I'll switch off Wi-Fi. We don't need that. Now, here's a funny little thing. You see, this would be your little wireless radio thingy for you to configure what you want to turn on, when you want to turn off. So is my Bluetooth on? Okay, good, it's off. Now, take a look at this. I go to Wi-Fi. You may be wondering, okay, well, where exactly would you actually turn it on or off? It only shows you advanced, more, signal, ping, version, exit. That's it. And then shows you on up there. Well, take a guess, because it actually took me quite a fucking long time. You actually had to click on the fucking icon. Whether I'm just retarded, or maybe they probably should have thought something better, I don't know. But yeah. Now, this thing does play a kind of a funny little tune, something that sounds extremely familiar. Yeah, it plays this little Windows chimes. Yes, it plays the Windows chimes whenever you switch on or off the radios, which is actually kind of funny. And then, you know, you got your Bluetooth, IR, exit. And yeah, you know, that's your little control panel. You know, you get your WordPad. Ooh, WordPad. So, yeah, WordPad. Now let's say in WordPad, over here you see, as I shown, this one is your little quick launch. So I'm able to quickly configure my volume, power, backlight, wireless. Over here is where I will configure the scan wedge. So, yeah. And then this is where it shows up your little, whether you have your keypad set to numerical or alpha or whatever the hell. You also double click on it to bring up the SIP. No, you don't double click on this, a single tap. So on other devices it's a fucking double tap. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways. So, you know, we're able to type in whatever the hell we want. So we can type in, I was about to type in an N. Ooh, we don't wanna make any suggestions like that. OP. Fuck. See, look at that, Optimus. Like Optimus Prime. Ha 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 ha. Then if I remember, if you hold it, yeah, you see, if you hold it, that's where you're able to actually switch your inputs. So I can also start the transcriber. Again, the transcriber is garbage, so who the fuck cares? So yeah, you know, you got your run dialog. Yep, run. Your settings. Your programs. You know, it's got the typical garbage. The media player, the messenger. Windows CE. So that isn't anything interesting there. You know, my device. We go to my device. Storage manager. There's your persistent storage, the 128 megabytes. Storage. Over here, you see I have a couple of shit already. And on here, you know, a couple of CE apps, you know, games, ooh, games, or, you know, their Windows CE is not like they're going to be really any good. So, we got a memory game. Amazing. Again, these are not built into the device. I just sourced them and put them on this piece of shit. So yeah, that is the basic stuff right there, really. Now, one thing you would notice, maybe someone would notice, I noticed, is that some of the icons on the control panel and throughout the UI itself are very familiar. For example, PDA information, or, you know, utility manager. And that's because those icons are from BOS. Now, I don't want to get into much of a tangent, but, you know, BOS was an OS. That's what I'm going to say. BOS was an OS from the 90s and kind of early 2000s. Well, it kind of died in the early 2000s, B-Inc. And, yeah, you know, it was a kind of funky OS. I actually have it installed on the computer I own, just for the hell of it. But, yeah, you know, BOS. And now, there's Haiku, which personally, I hate Haiku poems, but the Haiku OS, that's actually something I like, though. I would prefer using that than Windows, so I'm waiting until they finally release an actual viable version of it. But, yeah. So, other than that, there really isn't that much to say, you know. It's a barcode scanner, it can scan stuff. I guess the other unique thing would be is that, you know, instead of it actually playing a, let's see, this has a barcode right here. See, instead of it actually playing a beep, instead it plays, yeah, no, you heard that? Yeah, that is the ActiveSync connection. Yeah, that is the ActiveSync connection tune. So why it plays that in place of a beep, I don't know. But it does sound a lot more positive than just a beep though. So yeah, that's one of the other devices I own that makes a little jingle instead of just a beep. So yeah, you know, other than that, there really isn't that much to say. It's Windows CE. So Windows CE you aren't gonna get anywhere. Again, the wireless card, fucking goddamn bitch. The wireless card on here doesn't exactly work. So you fucking, I told you to. There we go. Like, I could launch Internet Explorer, but it's not gonna get me anywhere though. You know. Welcome to Internet Explorer 6.0 for Windows CE. Yeah, you know, fuck you. I don't care. But yeah, that's the Metrologic Optimus PDA SP5700. A very professional looking handheld. Very professional, screams professional, it screams corporate. And it's a Optimus PDA. It's a PDA, and it scans barcodes and it runs Windows CE. And yeah, not much to say there other than Metrologic. Well, Metrologic got bought out by Honeywell, but yeah.